At the start of the movie, Leah is rushing to get ready for work while her boyfriend Dave is still in bed. She kisses him goodbye, but he jokingly asks Leah to crawl back into bed with him. Leah says she can't because she's running late for work. Before she leaves, she reminds him about the party they have to go to later that day. Leah is at a busy coffee shop, ordering her usual iced coffee. While waiting, she notices a handsome guy nearby, and they share a quick smile. When the guy gets his iced coffee, Leah reaches for the same cup at the same time. He tells her to take it with a friendly smile. Leah blushes a bit, forgetting her order for a moment. Then she remembers and goes back to get her coffee, feeling a bit flustered but excited. At their friend's anniversary party, Leah notices Dave talking to their friend's son. When they get home, Leah talks to Dave about their future, like getting married and having kids, but Dave doesn't want that yet and they agreed not to talk about it anymore. Since they can't agree, Leah asks Dave to leave and they break up. Leah focuses on her job, trying to keep her mind off Dave. One night, Leah waits for her friend Karen at a bar for dinner, but Karen cancels because her son is sick. While Leah ponders what to do next, a stranger offers to buy her a drink. She declines politely, indicating she already has one. The man asks if she's waiting for someone, and she says yes, her boyfriend. Despite her clear response, the man keeps insisting she leave with him. Leah firmly refuses, feeling more and more annoyed. Just when things start to get uncomfortable, the guy from the coffee shop shows up. He confidently confronts the persistent man, who finally backs off and leaves. Leah is relieved and thanks the coffee shop guy, who introduces himself as Carter Duncan. He brushes off her thanks, saying it was no big deal. Leah offers to buy him a drink, but Carter declines, explaining he doesn't mix dating with coworkers. After enjoying dinner together, Leah and Carter spend time talking and getting to know each other better. They share stories and jokes, feeling a strong connection as they laugh and gaze at each other. Afterward, Carter pulls out his card and gives it to Leah, a sign that he wants to stay in touch and see where things go between them. They share a passionate kiss, feeling a surge of attraction. The next day at work, Leah gets a surprise call from Carter, who somehow found her number. He reminds her he's good with computers, being an IT guy. He suggests they meet up again, wanting to spend more time together. Excited to keep things going, Carter takes Leah to a lively reggae club. They enjoy the music and vibe, getting closer as they dance together. Their dance turns into a steamy moment, leading to them sneaking off for some privacy in the restroom. Later that night, Leah realizes she left her keys inside. She grabs the spare from a fake rock in her yard. Just then, her neighbor Mrs. McCarthy appears, so Leah introduces Carter as her boyfriend, showing they're serious about each other. As Leah and Carter's relationship gets stronger, Leah asks Carter to come with her to San Francisco to meet her family. While there, Carter and Leah's dad, Roger Vaughn, bond over a baseball game, becoming closer. But Leah's mom insists they sleep in different rooms, saying it's about respecting boundaries. Even though Leah tries to sneak into Carter's room, he reminds her to follow her parents' rules and sends her back to her own bed. Leah finds this respectful gesture charming, and it makes her like him even more. When they come back from San Francisco, Carter tells Leah he loves her, showing how serious he is about their relationship and making Leah feel even more connected to him. As they stop at a gas station, a man compliments Carter's Dodge Charger, catching Carter's attention. Carter thinks the man is flirting with her. Jealousy takes over, and Carter angrily attacks the man, shocking Leah. In the chaos, Carter tells Leah to hurry and get back in the car. Then the owner of the station steps in, holding a gun and telling them to leave right away. He says he's called the police, making them leave in a hurry. Leah tells Carter she still needs time alone, even though he says sorry. They meet for dinner later, and Leah tells him she wants to break up. Carter gets angrier as Leah won't accept his apologies, and he slams his hand on the table in frustration. For many weeks, Carter keeps bothering Leah at her job and home, calling her all the time. Even when she changes her phone number, he still won't leave her alone. Leah doesn't know it, but Carter sneaks into her house using a spare key. He does weird things like drinking from her used wine glasses and using her toothbrush. He even gets into her computer and takes her cat, making her feel even more uncomfortable and upset. Leah listens to her friends and goes to the police station. There, she talks to Detective Hansen. He tells her to write down every time Carter tries to contact her again. This will help her get a restraining order if she wants one. As Leah leaves her office late one night, she discovers a red rose rose accompanied by a chilling note, "If I can't have you, no one will." The following morning, legal papers are delivered to Carter at his workplace, officially serving him with a restraining order. Consequently, he loses his job as a result of the situation. One day, Dave calls Leah and asks to meet up. When they do, Dave tells Leah he's missed her and wants to get back together. Leah feels hopeful and agrees. While they talk, Leah tells Dave about Carter and what happened between them before. While having dinner, Leah and Dave spot Carter watching them from the bar. Dave decides to talk to him, walking over to Carter. When Carter says something rude about Leah, Dave warns him strongly to never bother her again. Leah calls the police again, so Hansen brings Carter to the station because he broke the restraining order. Carter says the restaurant is a public place, and he insists that Dave threatened him. He says he's the one who needs protection. One night, Carter is putting up cameras in Leah's house when her neighbor, Mrs. McCarthy, walks in unexpectedly. She asks what he's doing, and Carter lies, saying Leah asked for his help with something. Mrs. McCarthy is surprised because she thought Leah and Carter were no longer together. Worried, Mrs. McCarthy goes back to her house, but Carter follows her. Mrs. McCarthy quickly locks her door, but Carter comes after her. Sadly, Carter pushes Mrs. McCarthy down the stairs, and she dies, breaking her neck. A week goes by before Mrs. McCarthy's daughter calls the police, and they find the body. When Leah sees what happened, she is visibly distraught when informed of her neighbor's death. From the comfort of his home, Carter monitors Leah and Dave's activities through the surveillance cameras, observing them as they sleep and engage in intimate moments. However, the creepiest thing is when Carter hides under Leah's bed and listens to them while they're making love. The next day at work, Leah gets an upsetting email from her bosses saying a video of her and Dave having sex was sent to everyone they work with. Even though Leah tries to explain, her boss still suspends her. Later in bed, Leah gives Dave a birthday present she got before they broke up, which is a watch with "I will always love you, Leah" engraved on it. Dave thanks her and says he'll never take it off. The next day, Dave goes to Santa Barbara for a work meeting. Meanwhile, Carter messes with Dave's car by loosening the bolts on one of the tires. As Dave drives on the winding roads, the loose tire causes him to lose control of the car. It flips down a hill, hurting Dave badly. Carter, who's been keeping an eye on Dave, shows up at the crash site. With everything in chaos, Carter suffocates Dave to make sure he dies. He also takes Dave's watch as part of his evil plan. Meanwhile, Leah keeps calling Dave anxiously, but eventually falls asleep while waiting for him to come back. Later, Hansen and another detective come to Leah's house and tell her the sad news that Dave has died. Leah is overwhelmed with grief and collapses into Hansen's arms. After Dave's funeral, Leah goes home and falls asleep without changing. When she wakes up, she sees Dave's watch on the nightstand. She thinks Carter might be involved in Dave's death, but there's no evidence to prove it. Hansen tells Leah they can't do anything without proof. While investigating, Hansen finds out that Carter is using a fake name and has changed his identity before because of similar problems. Before leaving, Hansen confronts Carter physically, warning him to be careful. Hansen tells Leah that Carter's past involves a troubled upbringing in foster care, implying that Carter may have been dishonest about his life. Leah feels hurt and upset by this revelation, especially when Hansen casually mentions taking a break for coffee, adding to her frustration. Despite her anger, Leah decides to follow Hansen to a nearby coffee shop. There, Hansen shares a scary story with Leah about someone who dealt with frequent break-ins. In response, the person got a shotgun and filled the first 2 rounds with non-lethal shots and the rest with lethal ones. When Leah asks why, Hansen explains that it's a way to scare off intruders, showing the importance of being prepared for self-defense. After she meets with Hansen, Leah decides to handle things herself. She buys a shotgun to protect herself. While out, she sees Carter with another woman and warns her about his behavior, prompting the woman to leave quickly. Leah then files another restraining order against Carter and delivers it to his new boss, resulting in his firing. Angry, Carter kicks a trash can on his way out of the office. Leah follows him and finds his apartment. She breaks in with a crowbar and discovers evidence of his surveillance, including her missing cat. Unable to access his locked computers, Leah destroys them with a bat and makes a mess of his apartment. Finally, she spray paints a message on the wall to express her anger toward Carter. That night, Carter breaks into Leah's house and hears the shower running. He cautiously heads to the bathroom, but the steam makes it hard to see. Suddenly, he hears a shotgun cock behind him. Leah is aiming it at him. After a struggle, Carter disarms her and they start fighting all over the house. Leah gets thrown down the stairs, but the fight continues in the kitchen. She grabs a knife, but Carter takes it from her. Using whatever she can find, Leah fights back and manages to temporarily disable Carter with pots from the stove. She grabs the shotgun, and Carter dares her to shoot him. Leah fires beanbag shots as a warning, but Carter keeps coming. In the end, she has to use a real shell, killing him and sending him crashing into the coffee table, breaking it. Leah, hurt and bleeding, goes to the police station to find Detective Hansen. She puts the gun on his desk and says, "I want to report an intruder." The last scene shows the police taking Carter's dead body away from Leah's house. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Watch our next videos on the screen, and don't forget for more amazing recaps. See you on the next one.